or not.
So this is when we watched, all three of us watched this last night, actually, and we'd seen the first one. We've all seen the first one.
Yep.
Adam Green's masterpiece of 80s memorabilia slasher films, Hatchet, and this is the Blu-ray of Hatchet 2.
The Blu-ray disc.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, like, you know, I would have guessed this was going to be awful anyway, but a lot of the folks out there, like, I don't know if I've heard a positive review for this movie. I mean, online.
You remember that tagline? I don't remember what movie it was for, but it was like, nothing can prepare you for the horror of... Oh, okay, yeah. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yeah. Nothing can really prepare you for how shitty Hatchet 2 is. Like, even if you've seen the first Hatchet and hated it as much as we did, you really can't even imagine how bad this is.
Hatchet 2 was a million times worse than Hatchet, I feel like. It was unbelievably horrible.
Well, it just seemed like to me, I mean, for one thing, like Adam Green, and we've been hard on Adam Green, but like a lot of people think that we're really biased against his movies, but I beg to differ. I mean, go back and listen to the review we did of Frozen, and I think
we begrudgingly kind of like gave him some respect.
I just think like the problem with the Hatchet movies is, well, the sequel definitely doesn't have the budget that the original did. I mean, you can tell that from the makeup effects and just the look of the movie itself. I mean, the movie looks like, to me, it looked like one of those, as far as visually, it looked like a Lifetime movie or something like that.
That's how it seemed to be. I mean, it looked like it, and then the way the beginning of the movie, the dialogue and circumstances, everything just seemed to be like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, it had like a really cheap video look to it. Like, I don't know really, you know, technically how to explain it, but that was the least of the problems.
Well, let's just go ahead and start, pick up where this movie actually begins and the first movie left off, which, I'll be honest, I haven't seen the first movie all the way through since the very first time we watched it. We watched the Blu-ray. I somewhat watched it, a little bit earlier.
You were stoned. You wasn't.
I wish I was stoned. It would have made it a lot better. But I'm guessing that Danielle Harris is supposed to be the girl from the first film that's left.
Yeah, I think Mary Beth was her name.
The boat, yeah.
But I don't know if they ever called her Mary Beth in the sequel.
And she survives the first film at the beginning of the second one and swims to safety, and then...
Oh, yeah. This is Wes's favorite person.
Yeah,
Cunt-Eye Willie.
There you go.
Yeah. John Carl Buechler is like the guy that's, I guess, saves her and takes her in, and she goes back and finds Reverend Zombie, played by Tony Todd, of course, who actually has a lot bigger role in this film than he ever had in Hatchet, the first Hatchet, or any real other films he's been in lately.
Yeah, the original Hatchet, he was in there for what, a minute?
Yeah,
maybe?
He was just kind of there's a cameo, and this one he's actually got a lead role, I guess. So the whole plot is they put together a posse to hunt down and kill Victor Crowley.
Yeah. And the Asian dude from the first movie is back playing
a twin
brother, yeah, and
Tom Holland is
yeah.
I know it's weird.
He shows up and he plays Mary Beth's uncle, I think, or
Tom Holland. People that don't know, is a director though. He directed Fright Night and Child's Play and different movies like that. He's not an actor by any means. I mean, he was in films like Psycho. He was in Psycho 2 and a couple of other films as an actor, but just bit parts, no cameo, he was in cameos.
And then you also had R.A. Mieloff, who was the big burly bearded dude. He was also in Texas Chainsaw 3, and he used to be a pro wrestler. He had a pretty big role in this movie too.
Yeah.
And then you had a guy that was doing his best Sinbad impersonation throughout the whole movie.
I think that he was probably the most enjoyable character throughout the entire movie. Some of the things that he was saying, I was laughing at.
And even he was slightly annoying.
That's the problem, though,
getting
with
enjoyment.
This movie.
Yeah, getting enjoyment out of this movie is like trying to pick enjoyment out of taking a shit or something. God, that pot felt really good.
The problem is Hatchet. The first Hatchet, we feel as though, at least I do, feel like it could have been saved if maybe it was meant to be funny. If it was meant to be funny, then it probably could have been saved. Frozen, I actually thought was pretty good because it's that creepy kind of thing.
I think Frozen had problems, but I mean,
it wasn't that bad at all.
No.
But Hatchet 2, there's nothing that could have saved this at all, because clearly you know that he was trying to take himself seriously now. And the first one, maybe if you were hoping, if you liked him and you liked the way he was doing things, you could have thought that he was trying to be funny, but this one, there's nothing you could do about it.
Like, if you had a checklist, and I was sitting over here and I was like trying to describe to somebody like all of the things about this movie that sucked. You got makeup effects, sucked. You put acting, fucking horrible. Script, like there was really nothing. There's no script there. Just everything you can think of. Everything you can think of in this movie is awful. Like, for instance, we were talking a little bit about the makeup effects and things in it. Okay, the first movie had like state-of-the-art practical makeup effects. I mean, the shit looked amazing. This movie, it's like the makeup effects they're off somehow or another. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but they're not.
It looks like something from like a full moon movie or something. Like they had that kind of a budget.
Yeah, yeah. It's just they're just not there. And even the last scene, which I guess is supposed to be the big makeup effect with Tony Todd, is like it just looks silly because it looks so fake that you can't get into it. You're not scared. You're just kind of like, this is so freaking stupid.
Yeah, it's almost like Adam Green didn't make this movie. It's almost like they brought somebody else in, because it seemed like, if anything, like to Adam Green, the first movie, the death scenes and all that stuff was great. That was the best part of Hatchet, and they had awesome gore effects and gore scenes and really over the top stuff. But in this one, like, the blood looked like fucking chocolate milk or something. Like, every little detail was off. And Victor Crowley, the look of Victor Crowley in this movie was like fucking...
And especially the child version of Victor Crowley. Oh, my God. That was some of the worst looking stuff I've ever seen.
The thing is they had Kane Hodder, and who was playing, I guess, Victor Crowley's dad. And you got to see him. And then when you seen Victor Crowley himself, because they did a lot of close-ups on his extreme retard look, He's could see retard. Kane Hodder. You see it right in his eyes and throughout the whole part. You could see it, and it kind of took away from the. I guess if you were supposed to be scared by the way Victor Crowley looked, but he just looked like Kane Hodder. It was horrible. The death scenes were very confusing. I was more confused about what was, like, with the Tony Todd thing. Mm-hmm. I was really confused about what exactly was going on and why he was still alive even at that point.
Well, I mean, those were always over the top, even in the first one, but...
I think the idea was they peeled his skin off.
I guess,
think then you're supposed to see the muscles.
But it didn't look like... It looked like the fucker had... I don't...
It just looked like he just got doused in blood.
But anyway, that's really the makeup effects are the least of the problems. The acting in this is like...
Yeah.
Okay, it's anchored by Danielle Harris, and who
still did horrible. I thought she did awful in this movie.
But I'll tell you what did good is her eyebrow.
That's true. Like,
her eyebrow won a supporting actress award.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about her eyebrow in a second. But like, it seemed like her character was just like every word she said was like.
Well, she had a southern accent too. Like, where the hell did that come from? Why was that necessary?
No, she lost it in the middle of the movie, but then she gained
she
it
got
back in the end, and then she lost it at the very end. So she wasn't really sure if she was southern or not.
So she did. Like, I usually like her in movies. I think that overall she's a pretty good actress, but I guess a lot of it had to do with the direction she was given, the script and stuff like that.
You can't blame it all on that.
And we were talking about this earlier.
Blame it partially, at least.
We were talking about this earlier. I don't know what happens to these actors and actresses when they're young kids. They're just amazing actors, and she was an amazing child actor. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As she's gotten older, it's like she forgot how to act, or she forgot how to get back to that place where she was a kid. Corey Feldman has done the same thing, and I've seen other child actors do like exactly the same as well. It's like they just lose it at some point. I guess maybe through.
Well, I think after a while, like the best kid actors probably just don't even think about what they're doing and just sort of do it. But then for instance, in my opinion, the best kid actor of all time was Jerry Mathers on Leave It to Beaver when he was like really little. And then you notice though, as the series went on and he grew a little older, he sucked. Because I guess his conscience was getting, and like he was like, oh, am I going to do this right? Am I going to deliver these lines right? And the same thing happens with all the other ones too.
I guess that's it, and some of it has to be drugs as well. I think it's like with Corey Feldman. But back to Danielle Harris in this film, it was bad. I mean, it was noticeably bad. Like even in comparison, to like Tony Todd,
she was over the top.
Yeah,
yeah. And I was distracted throughout, and we were talking about the eyebrow thing, and evidently a lot of people were talking about the eyebrow thing online.
Well, how could you not notice it? It's just so prevalent in the film.
Yeah.
It's so there.
And like, I don't know if you get a clear answer on exactly what it is, but like I've seen pictures of her where her eyebrow does look fucked up, and I've seen other photos where it doesn't. Like I don't know if it's some sort of allergic reaction that she has every once in a while. Or what? You know,
she has an allergic reaction to shitty films.
Yeah. But her eyebrow was like, it was like she was really smelling what The Rock was cooking in this movie. I mean,
The Rock says, it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like from the start of the movie, like we were right from the start, we were like, there's something weird about her, and then you start to really notice what it is as it goes on. Her eyebrow's up like 4 or 5 inches above her forehead, like when the other one's just normal.
Yeah.
It just like stays in one spot.
And her eyebrow, the other eyebrow doesn't move.
Yeah, and it's
like
so distracting from everything
something.
else that she's trying to say. All you can do when you see it is just stare at that eyebrow. You're not paying any attention to what she's saying or anything.
Yeah.
And I don't. If you can watch that movie and not be fixated by that, I'd just love to meet who you are.
I've noticed though too, like a lot of the other movies she was in, she had like bangs down.
As the movie goes on, she actually puts her bangs down like over her eye and stuff.
So I mean that.
You can kind of see a scar maybe underneath her eyebrow, the fucked up one. You can maybe see a scar. Maybe Botox, maybe something she had some kind of surgery or something done. But that's definitely not a problem where she plugged her eyebrows too wrong. It's nothing like that, because one is way up higher than the other, but it doesn't move. So it feels like it might be a Botox problem.
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I've seen photos where she looks fine. I mean, it is the other eyebrow is slightly up there. Man, we're talking about this damn thing was halfway up past her forehead. You know,
it's just like she was permanently just surprised
Trust
in
me,
one eye.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Yeah, had an overly concerned look.
And I've been a big Danielle Harris fan for a long time, okay? Me and Rob had an awkward moment at a convention one time where we were, like, across the aisle from each other. This was years ago. This was a couple of years ago. And we were both staring at Danielle Harris, watching her walk away, and our eyes met, you know, watching each other. So, yeah, I have never, ever noticed that before, so I don't know if it's the fact that she always had it covered up in movies or what, but that just blew my mind. So every time they had her, like I guess in the beginning part of the movie, the rest of the movie, she had it covered up with her hair.
Right.
That was really distracting to me.
But the ultimate, though, I guess, culmination of the movie at the end, and I started thinking about this after we watched it, was really like a big Halloween ripoff, like a Rob Zombie's Halloween ripoff.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same exact kind of ending if you think about it.
But Adam Green considers himself an innovator.
God, I hated everything about this movie.
Maybe there's something about this movie that we're just clearly not understanding.
I know I will never, unless we do some sort of commentary or like have to watch it. I know I'll never ever watch this movie again. Yeah. It's just there's no. I even kind of like wanted to watch Hatchet again to see the death scenes, but I know there's nothing in this movie I ever want to watch.
Well, it's just so poorly done, like on every level. And the fans of the original Hatchet, I mean, there are people out there that said they loved the original Hatchet that hated this. So, yeah, whatever. We'll just have to.
But look at this shit. This is the thing. And I saw another quote in, I think, Rue Moore magazine, but you got, Dread Central, twice the gore, twice the intensity.
Yeah, that guy was in the movie.
You got the AV Club, great qualities of gore, and then you got...
they're best friends with him.
And then, but I did see a quote in Rue Moore that Blood Disgusting said it was the best slasher film of all time.
Oh, wow. Oh no.
Well, bloody disgusting. That's their thing. They use that to get their quote anywhere.
It's not on here. I would imagine it would be. I don't know if that's just something that they like threw out there to put in Rue Morgue or something, or if somebody just made that up. But I swear to God, if you watch this film and think it's the best slasher film of all time, then you are a fucking idiot.
That right there is the best slasher film of all time, folks. Madman.
Maybe everybody just keeps talking about the gore because that might be the only positive part of the movie.
The gore sucked,
yeah,
though.
but it was horrible. There was
Maybe that's the only thing that they can actually quote on without feeling too bad about
really,
it.
that's the only thing in Hatchet, in the first Hatchet, that anybody ever talks about.
And I'll give them credit. Hey, the gore in the first Hatchet was good. The gore in Hatchet 2, was not good at all.
Oh, there was this part in Hatchet 2, though, that was cracking up when that chick was getting fucked.
Yeah.
In the woods. And then that guy's death scene is
he got his head locked off, like, oh no!
He's like, oh my God, you didn't go limp on me.
Yeah, he really laid into her for about 5 more beats and then he fell over. Which I don't think that's possible at all.
No, I did like the part though where she got right in the snooch.
Yeah,
with
he
the axe.
axed her in the crotch. That was great, though. That was funny. I was cracking up at that.
But aside from that scene,
I think that the rest of it was shit.
Yeah,
you-
we
The
remember
only
that.
reason maybe you should watch this movie is for that scene.
like when you watch these
Anime.
movies, like Adam
Look at
Green,
Danielle Harris.
Adam Green, yeah, Danielle Harris's eyebrow. Which I think just for that alone, we've got to do a commentary over this movie.
Yeah,
at some
Danielle
point.
Harris's eyebrow is a classically trained thespian. But just that one eyebrow.
I don't know why you want to do that to me.
That eyebrow's like walking around up there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you got the Danielle Harris doing the rock impersonation, and you got fucking John Carl Buechler's one Gun-Eye Willie.
And you got Candyman. He's doing like Tony Todd's doing Candyman.
Tony
again.
Todd, that's his biggest role since fucking Final Destination 1. Yeah. Hatchet 2's the worst slasher movie of all time. How about that? That'd be
It's close. It really is. Like it's got to be close to some of the worst slasher films I've ever seen.
And here's the thing, like, and people say this, like, that we're overly, like, negative towards Adam Green, and I wouldn't be, aside from, like, he's one of those guys that's just completely full of himself, and, like, you remember, like, all the quotes, and we can talk about this, too, because I think this is bullshit, especially knowing that one of the fuckers is actually in the movie from Dread Central. When Dread Central started their campaign, support unrated horror, and they have fucking, okay, if you want to put out a campaign, put out the support unrated horror thing. Don't put, like Adam Green's Hatchet 2 in theaters, brutal if I can do October. That's just,
Let's be honest, though, man. All those guys are from the same area, and they're all just jerking each other off. At the expense of other people that watch and enjoy horror films, because that's all this stuff about it being this great film is all a bunch of bullshit. And anybody that watches this film will, I'm sure, agree with that. They're just fucking. It's like if we got together with a bunch of people around here in Kentucky, and they were just sending us films and letting us be in their films and shit, and then we were like become friends with them, and then you lose like any ability to decipher if the films are really any good.
Yeah, I mean, it's why, just my personal opinion, like these internet websites, their reviews, I don't listen to any of them. Because, like, I think, especially the ones that are based in California, and these guys give them, I'll give you a little role in this movie, or, you put me, do this little fucking stupid internet campaign on Facebook. They don't give a fuck. I mean, the whole thing is, to them, is to be a part of it or something like that. Like they want to be in movies and stuff. Fuck them. Sorry, I say.
Yeah. So that's Hatchet 2.
Nope.
Let's see.
If you want to hear honest reviews, go to DEADPIT. Don't listen to them.
Let's see what special features that I will never watch. Hatchet 2, Behind the Screams.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, Beyond Thunderdome. Production and audio commentary track
Just
featuring the
walk
writer-director Adam Green, cinematographer Will Barrett. This had a cinematographer in it. That's amazing. And makeup effects
Neat.
supervisor Robert Pendergraft. That's
Will-
Teddy Pendergraft's brother.
Will Barrett worked on a lot of Lifetime movies.
Yeah, Will Barrett. And cast audio commentary track featuring Adam Green, actors Kane Hodder and Tony Todd. Special features have not been rated. It's the unrated director's cut, though, and it comes out from
Shnikes.
Dark Sky Films.
Yeah. The Blu-ray, what do you think? The Blu-ray disc looked magnificent, though. As good as a
it
movie
looked-
like this could look.
Absolutely luscious. You could see the eyebrow twitch and fly around.
Throw this one in the trash, folks.